So it is 2:01 Pacific Standard Time, which means that we are going to be kicking off our room today. We have our lovely Texas and Florida managing broker, Kathy, here with us today. And she's going to be conducting a broker education room on how to win more listings with effective negotiation language. So she's going to be talking through some really great strategies to help you guys get more listings, especially right now in what's considered more of a down market, and use effective communication tools and verbiage to hopefully win some more listings. So I will hand over the metaphorical microphone to her. So Kathy, go ahead. The floor is all yours.
Thank you, Ela. So welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us now and in the future. I'm Kathy Arzad, your managing broker with Radius. These workshops that Dee and I, well, Dee's usually here, that Dee and I usually present together are on a weekly basis, and we do record them and we put them on our website for future. So you can be looking at this in the future. And today we are discussing how to win more listings with effective negotiation language. So let's dive in. So first of all, what is it, right? What is negotiation language? It sounds great, but what is it? So it refers to the specific choices of words, phrases, and communication techniques used during negotiations to influence outcomes, persuade others, and achieve specific objectives. It's a crucial part of the negotiation process, as the way information is presented can significantly impact the perception, decisions, and reactions of the other party. So effective negotiation language includes clarity. So this is communicating it in a clear, straightforward manner to ensure mutual understanding and avoid any misunderstandings. Persuasiveness, that's using persuasive language to convince the other party of the benefits of your proposal or viewpoint. Assertiveness, so this is confidently stating your needs and wants without being aggressive or confrontational. Empathy, that's demonstrating understanding and consideration of the other party's needs, concerns, and perspectives. Tactfulness, demonstrating understanding and consideration of the other party's needs, concerns, and perspectives, especially when discussing contentious or difficult topics. Questioning, that's employing open-ended questions to encourage dialogue and gain more information, and closed questions to confirm understanding or agreement. And then listening, that's when you're using language that shows you're actively listening and processing what the other party says, which can include summarizing their points or asking clarifying questions. Positivity, so focusing on the positive outcomes and framing requests or suggestions in a positive light rather than focusing on negatives or limitations. Negotiation language is not just about what is said, but it's also how it's said. So your tone, pace, volume of speech can also convey confidence, openness, or willingness to collaborate, which are essential for successful negotiations. Mastery of negotiation language can lead to more favorable outcomes, whether that's in any everyday interactions or even in as the realtor. So always you can use negotiation language techniques and tactics for a lot of different things in your life. So start by creating a connection with the seller, right? So use language that is empathetic and shows understanding of their situation, needs, and goals. So establishing trust is key to forming a strong relationship, right? So first, I want to revisit first impressions. Like, how do you make a great first impression? So professional appearance, and Dee and I had a whole discussion about this before this call. What is a professional appearance for a realtor? Because you can, I say it's being clean, right? Because what is dressing professionally, really? If you're talking about, your appearance and what you are supposed to convey, I mean, the ideas and the opinions are subjective of what is professional. So there's a school of thought that says you should mirror your client, right? Mirror your potential customer, your potential client. So if they're wearing jeans and a t-shirt, then you can wear jeans and a t-shirt type of thing. However, there's extremes in both cases. So we have Florida agents. And if you're going to, say, a beach house and the guy is in a bathing suit, are you going to wear a bathing suit? Like, this is what we were discussing. Probably not. So what I would say is professional appearance is clean, wear clothes that you feel confident in. So whatever that means to you, just be confident. And appropriate for your market and client base. That's what I suggest. So another great first impression item is to be punctual. I know it seems redundant, but arriving on time actually makes a difference. Prepare thoroughly. So you should know the property. You should know the local market. You should have the comparable listings already pulled up, and your client's needs. You should know your client's needs inside and out based on what you already have researched. So being well prepared shows your competence and dedication to your client's best interests. So effective communication is another thing that you can do for first impressions. So you want to listen actively to your client's needs and concerns. So speak with a very clear, concise, and positive way. Tailor your language to your client. So avoid any jargon that they may not understand, like CMA. That's an acronym that us realtors use all the time. But what is that? Nobody really knows. It's a comparative market analysis. So just say it out. You don't need to say acronyms. So another one is confidence and positivity. Again, that kind of goes with your dress and how you're presenting yourself. A personalized approach. So you all want to customize your approach to selling for every client. So don't just take a basic thing and say a generic thing and say, well, this is the only thing that I do. This is my marketing plan. Well, no, why don't you customize it for that specific house already and that property, whatever you're selling. Body language, that's a great way to make a good first impression. Body language. So you want to have open, positive body language, like a firm handshake or eye contact. Always make eye contact, maybe a warm smile. And of course, that is contingent on the culture, the person's culture that you're meeting with too. So sometimes, shaking hands is not considered wonderful. So anyway, you have to know what to do as far as your body language, but having like some confidence, that's also body language. That'll go far. So use of technology, you want to show that you're up to date with the latest real estate tech. So if that's, for all of it, the listing presentation, the market analysis, communication techniques, that all needs to reflect the use of technology for today. And so that's a great way to make a first impression. Also a follow-up text, call, email, personal note card, whatever it is, but follow-up is key. Your professional branding, that's another way to make a great first impression, starting from your online presence, the very first thing that they've seen, and going from your website to social media. All of that creates a sense of professionalism, a sense of expertise, and it provides what unique value you offer. And then, of course, market knowledge. So those are all very good things to do for first impressions. The second bullet point here is active listening and empathy. So we're going to touch on this in a few different ways, but we're showing genuine interest in what the seller says can go very far. Repeat back what you've heard to confirm understanding. Making eye contact is really key also when you're face-to-face in person with someone. This shows that you're paying attention to them, and it also can help you when you're repeating back what they've said to you. You're also just helping to tailor your response to their specific concern. That is key for so many aspects of life. Basically, is active listening for all your relationships, but especially for sales. You need to be an active listener. So the next one is highlight your unique value proposition. We've talked about this in other rooms. It's really key for this so that you clearly articulate what makes you different or better than other realtors. So this could include your marketing strategies, your unique network, your track record of sales, or knowledge of the local market. You should use specific examples and stories to illustrate your point. So that's part of being articulate about it. So have a couple examples of properties that you've sold that are similar to this one, and what was the outcome? What worked for that? The potential seller for you will want to hear those things and how you know how to sell properties. Using positive and confident language. So, um, expressing confidence in your ability to sell the property is of incredible value. And then you also want to say that it's within a reasonable time frame that's for that market, right? So if you really want to avoid using words that show uncertainty or doubt in this regard. Phrases like "I can" and "I will" are more persuasive than "I might" or "I could." So, of course, an easy example, "I can sell your property in 90 days." That sounds good, right? Versus, "I might be able to sell your property within 90 days." Like, that's just conveys doubt. And those little things, the one word there, one word there, it really makes an impact on the seller. Focus on benefits, not features. So this is interesting because instead of focusing on the services that you offer, those are the features, you want to explain how these services actually benefit the seller. So I don't know if you've heard the term feature dump, where you're just rattling off all these things that you do for your sellers. Um, that may not really go anywhere. That might go in one ear and out the other. They may not retain that because they're only thinking of their issue and their current situation and what they're looking for. So if at this point, if you've already been actively listening and all of the times you've spoken to the seller and you know prior to this conversation, you will know exactly what their hot buttons are. And you're going to be able to say, this is why I'm going to do this. I'm going to do photography because you want to have active exposure out on the MLS. Not that I do photography for your property. Like, you want to explain why. Like, what is it going to do for the seller? It's going to help it sell faster. So you want to explain that. So professional photos attract more buyers, right? And potentially increase the sale price. So those things, that's more of a benefit. Okay, creating a sense of urgency. So it's important to communicate the importance of timing in the market, right? So use language that suggests acting sooner rather than later can lead to better income outcomes. So ensure that this is backed by actual real estate insight and data. So your market insight and data. This is where your comparative market analysis, the CMA, can be referenced. Of course, you want to use recent data, and it's within 3 to 6 months is absolutely best practice. If you have to go longer, that's dependent on market, right? If it's a small market type of thing. But you want to create a sense of urgency in real estate transactions, because doing so is a strategic way to motivate buyers and sellers to act quickly. So this can be particularly effective in competitive markets or with a listing that has been on the market for a while. So here are tactics. So you want to highlight the market demand. So you want to share that current market data that you already pulled that demonstrates high demand and low supply in the area. So emphasize how this affects competition and pricing, suggesting that delaying could mean missing out on optimal conditions. I feel like that's number one, right? That's the best way to create urgency. Also, setting deadlines. So for offers or discounts, you want to set a clear deadline. So this can apply to reduce commission rates for early listings, special pricing for early offers, or deadlines for accepting an offer on a home. This is really interesting because this is thinking outside of the box. I don't think that the general masses of realtors do this, is to actually build in those offers or discounts. So really think about what you can do to differentiate yourself from the competition. And then when you're going to offer that, set a clear deadline. So if you list with me in the next 2 days, I will reduce your commission by 0.5% or whatever it is, 1%. So, but put a clear deadline on it so they don't feel like they can sit for 2 months. That's creating sense of urgency. Limited time incentives. So offer incentives that are available just for a limited time, like you'll cover, maybe covering some of the closing costs or getting a home warranty for them or including a high value appliance, something like that. That would encourage a quick decision, right? It's all about money, I feel. The next one is FOMO, fear of missing out. So share stories or examples of buyers who hesitated and missed out on properties that they loved to competitors that were more decisive. So that's for the buyer, but it can go for the seller too, and especially when if it's this is awesome. If it's a hot market, that's the sense of urgency that you would want to convey. We just had that a couple of years ago. So that's an example. The fear of missing out. FOMO was all around in our industry because sellers were like, oh my gosh, is this the height? Is this the peak? I got to get in now and make the money. So, but in this slower market, I know for where I'm located in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it might be slower, but the pricing hasn't gone down. And business, the homes are still selling. So it's not like it's a dead market. It's I would say it's cooled. It's cooled, but you can still set incentives. You can still say, look, I will provide a home warranty for your buyer or seller. You can do it for both sides. You can do those things still and make an impact. Also, providing the comparative market analysis, the CMA, you can use that to create a sense of urgency because you want to highlight the what similar properties are selling for now. And since we are sort of in the down, we don't know if we've hit bottom, so that might be the incentive too to get them to act quicker. Price adjustment notifications, you want to inform sellers about the need for timely price adjustments based on market feedback and conditions. Also seasonal advantages, like it's really in this market, it's just fabulous if you can sell in the summer. That's when most families are moving. That's when people move in for jobs, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever season it is for you, it depends on your market. But you could also use that, which that's something I've used many times. And then also you want to just make sure that they're educated on market trends. So that can give them the sense of urgency, but creating urgency should always be done in an ethical and honest way, ensuring that any information shared is accurate and in their best interest, right? So the goal is to motivate, not manipulate, helping clients make informed and timely decisions. So overcoming objections with prepared responses. Okay, so you want to anticipate common objections and have prepared thoughtful responses. So use these objections as an opportunity to further demonstrate your expertise and the value you bring. So here are some common objections. Here's a list. Concern, okay, the first thing, concern about commission rates. Sellers may object to the commission rate. Questioning why they should pay a certain percentage or a fee that justifies the services provided. So here's a response. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you have the option to do anything, right? Commissions are always negotiable. Statistically speaking, listings that offer buyer's agents commissions usually sell faster and for more money. So you want to hear their concern and just back it up with a already prepared thing of what you're going to say. That's probably the number one thing we're going to hear lately, right? Another one is worrying over the list price, feeling that the sellers feel that the price that you're proposing is undervaluing their house or their home, or it's being overvalued. That's usually that's rare. But the undervalue part, I hear that. So the seller might say, I think my home is worth more than the price you suggested, or other agents promised me more, promised that I could get a higher price. So this is an opportunity for you to actively listen. So at this point, you're going to want to say what makes your home worth more, and then explore that. And if they're saying it's all of, it's this additional room that they added onto the house, just explain. That's when you go back to data. You want to always refer to data. Well, so similar houses with this additional, square footage, this is what they're priced at, or this is what buyers are really wanting. Like, they don't necessarily want that type of space, whatever it is. So, you want to make sure that you're conveying your market expertise, you're conveying facts. So that's where the data and the statistics come in, and you can overcome these objections. Here's another one. So they have doubts about your marketing strategy. Sellers may question your marketing plan, especially if they're not familiar with the latest digital marketing techniques, or if they have specific expectations. So they're asking, well, how will you market my home? Why aren't you advertising in the local paper? So Dee and I had a whole discussion about this too, because yeah, it seems like that's 25 years ago, advertising in the local paper, but that's not really the case, not everywhere. And there are people of different demographics that really aren't familiar with all the online tools. So what you want to do is, again, use data, use statistics, use examples that you say, if they're not familiar with using social media to sell real estate, well, explain how it is. Explain, how you've gotten such good results by, Instagram ads, or whatever is your go-to. Like, what is it that works for you? Explain that and show the outcome, show the statistics of what you've recently done with that information. And always come from a place of, I want to say kindness, but you want to be at a place of just conveying that with some empathy. So that goes back to the empathy. Another one is concerns about communication and availability by you. So the sellers could be worried how often you're going to communicate with them, and whether you're going to be readily available to address their needs. So that is actual very much a common objection. So what you would want to say is then, how often do you want me to update you? I can work around your needs and your expectations. Now, some of these objections that I'm covering should have been probably in your listing presentation, right? But if this is still a sticky point, you want to just drill it home that you will make time for your seller. For an example, when I was a full-time realtor selling as my whole job, my whole thing, I was busy. I was a high producing agent, and I had sellers and buyers say, I couldn't believe it, because I felt like I was your only client. So that was how it conveyed to them, but they obviously weren't. I was crazy busy. But that's the type of thing. You prioritize who you're going to reach out to and who you're going to have a regular cadence with, and that's a seller. A listing warrants that kind of response. So you just want to make sure you understand how they want to be communicated and how often. And then, of course, availability for showings and whatnot, same thing. Explain that you make time. You make time to sell their house. They are your top priority right now. You just convey that in a confident way. Another one is a hesitation to make recommended home improvements or staging. So sellers might resist suggestions to make home improvements or stage because of cost or effort. So here's the thought on that. Yes, it's a cost thing. A seller doesn't want to throw a lot of money into this house that they really don't want to leave. They want to sell. So why would they, put up 30 grand or whatever it is? So what you can say is, first of all, my take on this, Kathy's take on this is that I don't think you need to completely update the house before you sell. I don't believe in that. It's often not needed because, um, first of all, the seller should be flexible with their pricing. So if they don't want to do that 30 grand update that buyers want, you need to go down in price by 15 just to compensate that, because what buyers want to do, they don't want to go into a house that was like the kitchen was renovated in a just in a poor way, right? So or in a way that isn't appropriate to their color schemes. So why would you invest a lot of money into, even if it's all beige? People could hate beige. So, I mean, you just never know what the buyers are going to want. So what I think of staging is simply to have a clean house, have it very clean. Um, I mean, that's kind of simple. That's not a big deal. Another thing that is kind of basic might be just to paint a neutral color for the whole house if it's really atrocious and that's the only thing that's bad. Like, you have to just talk about these needs. And but if someone is opposed to home improvements, you don't need them to sell a house. You just need to be flexible on price. So the next one is the length of the listing agreement, right? So some sellers are cautious about committing to a long listing agreement, fearing it's going to take too long, right? Well, so, what would you say if someone was coming in saying, well, we need a shorter listing agreement, I'll give you 3 months? Well, I mean, first of all, you have to take care of yourself and protect your time and money that you're going to spend into this listing. So show stats. This is, again, refer to data. Always refer to data. Are the homes selling within 3 months? Like, are they selling within 30 days? Okay, that's fine. I'll take a 3-month listing agreement. But if all of your comps are selling in 6 months, taking a 3-month is just gonna bite you, right? Unless it's a strategic move and you want to get into this neighborhood and you'll do whatever the heck to get it, meaning that you'll take a listing for a short term just to get that market exposure. So you have to think about this. Are you willing to do this to meet the seller, or can you persuade them to give you another 3 months? Anyway, so it's important to listen carefully to what the seller is saying, demonstrate empathy, provide clear and factual responses, and reassure the seller of their expertise, of your expertise and your marketing strategy and commitment to achieving the best outcome for them. So that being said, are there any questions or comments?
If anyone also has any comments too, they can feel free to leave it in the chat, or Kathy has also left her email there. So that way, if you guys need to get in contact with her, you're more than able to do so.
Oh, I see some notes here. Oh, you already responded.
Yes. I've been monitoring the chat, Kathy, so don't worry about that.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. I'm happy to help. And so if there are no further questions, that means I hope that you guys all were able to extract some valuable insights from today's session. And hopefully this will help you with listing negotiations and acquiring more listings in the future. And so as always, we do these rooms every single week. And so next week, I believe we are going to be doing a mapping your back end operations room session. And so that's going to go through lead generation. It's going to go through communication, transactions, having that personalized plan to help you reduce stress in terms of your operations and logistics for your business. So feel free to join us for that as well.
Next week is negotiating your commission with a buyer client.
I was looking at the wrong week. My apologies. This is why I need you here, Kathy. Scratch that. 2 weeks from now is when we're going to be
Yes.
having that room. Next week is going to be, as you were right, negotiating your commission with the buyer client. So that one is going to be a fantastic room. And so we're going to be exploring creative solutions, leveraging market data, and talking about communication to help you negotiate and advocate for your commission, because you guys do a lot of hard work and we want to make sure that you are getting paid accurately. So feel free to tune in for that one. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us all today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday and a fantastic weekend. We'll see you again next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.